afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. RFK Refugees Podcast. Ted here. John is not here. He is presumably finding another Latinx dish to defile with his green slime. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that. I had some pupusas without hot sauce today, and let me tell you, they are perfectly fine without it. They do not need that. But joining me on the show, hopefully he agrees with my takes on pupusas. Otherwise, it's going to be a short show. Joshua Morgan from Tried and True. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I am partial. I do enjoy the slaw a little bit more. I like to combine those two, but yeah, I'm less heavy on the sauce than I've heard John is.
Good. That is how it should be. You hear that, John? I might just replace you with him now. This might be it. All right, y'all. Before we get into the show, before we talk about the slate of games, I think it would behoove us to mention the loss of a great DC United supporter. He is somebody who, if you asked around, was somebody who fans who was an incredible supporter, longtime supporter of the team. Big Rob passed away very peacefully last night. There is a GoFundMe set up for his son Marco. He was an only parent, so his son Marco needs all the support we can get. It's incredibly sad moment, I think, for fans. I think the thing was that he passed away peacefully. He's somebody I can't say I knew very well. I had sort of seen him around games. I had sort of been around him. I posted a link. I guess the one memory that does make me laugh is he was a part of Kobe Jones's Hall of Fame speech. So go look that up. Cue to minute 434, and I think you'll see everything that was bad. Joshua, I don't know if you had a chance to get to know Rob at all. I don't know how long you've been around the team, but pretty sad moments for the team, and hopefully fans can continue on in his memory.
Yeah, I only had experience with people who had knew him, some of the OGs, and everyone who did know him had nothing but high praise, and it speaks to his character, the reaction, and kind of the spark to make this family great, in his passing, and we will miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, we're going to put up the link. If you have whatever you can, donate to his son Marco. Give whatever you can, whatever it takes to make sure to help him out and to make sure he can recover this. He's lost his father, and he needs all the support he can get. And we know DC fans stand up. There are people who stood up to give to Big Rob a lot. So I know for a fact our fan base will stand up again and support one of our own. I guess I said I wanted to open with this. Maybe that wasn't the best idea, but I guess we'll move on. We'll talk a little Washington Spirit. Let's shift to a happier note. An actual team from the area who went out and won a game. I had a chance to watch this. If you didn't miss, we did a card pack opening. We opened different NWSL cards and showed them off. I had the best haul of the bunch, so take that, John. It's not a competition, but I did have the best haul. But then we got to watch the game on Twitch, and the camera work was, I don't know if you had how much you watched this, Joshua, but the camera work was terrible. It was awful.
It wasn't as bad as last night's. I don't know if you saw that cut shot where we were tracking Areola himself, but
yeah, I did.
It was a little shady. It is a baseball stadium, so what can you expect?
Yeah. And this is coming. I have watched many of USL League One productions. Let's just say that are Art Deco in the way they're shot. And I think at one point the best part of the shot was like the sort of right side of the field near the quarter flag was cut off because of it's a baseball field. And I was like, well, why don't they have a camera set up? And they did, and they shot to it. And when they go to that camera, it's literally facing directly in the sun. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that's why they're not doing it. This is the first time I've actually seen an FC Kansas City or Kansas City NWSL, I guess. I really want NWSL. There has to be someone out there that can pressure them to allow them to use Livestrong Sporting Park because I'm not going to say the struggles in the beginning for the Spirit were entirely because of which direction of the field where they were playing. But it seemed like they're a team that tries to hold the ball, pass and move and possess, and trying to do it on a infield where sort of a carpet is sort of laid over it was not ideal. And I think they struggled. They struggled in this first half. What were some of, if you had a chance to watch the game, what were some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw the game and I agreed that they struggled in the first half. I'd almost go and say that they were lucky to come out just down one. I thought their goalkeeper saved them a few times. It stood on their head for one save off a bad turnover. It was pretty rough, and maybe that was what happened. The shorter pitch, the quicker pitch on the carpet messed up their possession style.
Yeah, well, I think you have a team. They get that early goal, and I think when you have a team that's been struggling like Kansas City, they're bottom of the table right now. They're still in flux. They're still trying to. They basically had to. They were carryovers from the Utah Royals, but basically every one of their players was like, "I don't want to go to Kansas City. Find a move for me," including Kelly O'Hara, who's now with the Spirit. She also was not in the game, so maybe that also led a little bit to the defensive woes for the team. She is on. She is something that's become common to Spirit fans, is U.S. Soccer saying, no, she's not playing. Figure it out, but we don't want her playing. So yeah, we had that sort of rough start. I was really watching. I was very excited when Kumi Yokoyama was out there because I think they are a player that I think can contribute to this team. But they didn't have a good game. It was not a performance I think that they will want to have. They will want to play back, and it's been a huge struggle for them. Other than that, I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot from this game. I don't know if you can really. Sorry, from the first half at least. I don't know if you can really say anything that really stood out. It was a rough showing. But then they enter the second half, and it's a completely different story. I don't know if you had any thoughts, any other players you want to mention, anything that sort of came to mind, even the first half, or we can transition to the fun part where we saw like the future of this team come to life.
I think you hit on a couple things there. I think O'Hara would have made a difference on the goal. It's kind of a sloppy. The defender should have made the play, especially early in the game. And then Yokohama they had a chance, and I've been a little bit frustrated with Ashley Hatch this season. She has 4 goals and is one of the highest goal scorers right now in the league, but I feel like she's missed some key chances. I got to see her play a couple times in person, and it felt a little bit off, and I was hopeful that there would be some sort of competition there at the striker spot, but not based off of that first half, at least.
Yeah, I think the most entertaining part of the first half was how clearly how you can clearly hear Richie Burke on the sideline.
I think that's everywhere. He's always so loud. I enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. But we get in the second half, and like I said, they switch the pitch. They're able to sort of play more on the ground. And suddenly things kind of come to life for the team. They start to move the ball. They generate chances. They look a little bit better. And we see, I think this is the first game. This was, I think, an important game because you're down 1-0. You're against the team you should probably beat, that you're certainly more skilled than, and you're kind of trying to figure it out. Some chances are coming. Nothing's really happening. And then I think they get kind of 2 clear moments. You have a ball falls to Andy Sullivan. She plays it over the top, finds a really, really incredible ball over the top. Almost John was saying on the show is like, I think Andy Sullivan is going to like score a hat trick and then take off a shirt that says, why always me, Vodko? Like, why always me? She's probably not happy about missing the Olympic roster, but shows like what she can bring, which is her ability to play the ball long, plays it over to Trinity Rodman. Trinity Rodman does really well in a tight space to find Ashley Sanchez, and Ashley Sanchez just puts on a clinic dribbling and finishing. Just an absolutely incredible goal. I literally stood out in my seat. I think that's sort of her first big moment of the season. She may have had a couple of times, but that was the first moment when I was like, if we get more of that this season, we got something here. I think this is the type of player who you could have a dark horse, like MVP, dark horse championship team with the way Washington Spirit, if they can put that together consistently.
Wow. Is that for Trinity or for Ashley?
For Ashley.
Yeah, wow.
We'll talk about Trinity next. She gets her moment next. But.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she does have a good moment here, and yeah, you could see this one coming, especially on this goal. They were controlling possession, especially. I think they had it for like at least a couple minutes before this goal happened, and then they just Sullivan just tries something, puts it far post. Trinity's amazing, and she does that all the time. Her close control, her creativeness, and then decisiveness is just great. And I know she's about to have her moment, but I wanted to. And then Sanchez puts it away, and you love to see that. It's so good, and I think she's one of my favorite players on this team as well. I could see a dark horse run for her too.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing about Sanchez has been consistency. I feel like she started the season. She had a little bit of a rough start. I think she had some personal things going on. I think that maybe was contributing to it a little bit. I think now that she's kind of over that, she has the season now. She's going to get opportunities. The Olympics are going to come up. She's not on the roster, obviously, but this is a chance for her to show herself. I say it's akin to I remember in what was it 2015 when Crystal Dunn did not make the World Cup roster for the U.S. women's team, and then she just proceeded to go on a tear that year and got the Spirit to the championship game that season. Literally single-handedly by herself, won the MVP, was the Golden Boot winner. Literally everything. She sort of made her mark. That she is now a huge part of that national team. So maybe we see the same thing for Ashley Sanchez, or maybe we see the same thing for Trinity Rodman. The U.S. attack is getting a little bit on the older side now. You look at the roster. You got Alex Morgan is, I think, in her 30s. Obviously, we know Megan Rapinoe's there. I think Christian Press is gonna. She's the in prime player. She's gonna have her moment, but there's gonna be some turnover in that offensive her third. So I think this is a huge opportunity for both those players. Let's talk about Trinity Rodman, the winning goal. But I think it's worth mentioning. Tori Huster just makes a play. Pressure, win the ball. I think Hernan Losada would be proud of that press. Just presses the ball, wins it. Nice ball over the top, and then Trinity Rodman does Trinity Rodman things and just makes a beautiful cut and gets the goal. I almost freaked out because I thought she got injured. Like, she literally just falls down, and I'm like, please don't tell me she's injured. I don't need that. Please.
No. Yeah, it was great, and I think there's a lot to what you're saying. That yes, the Olympic roster is definitely on the older side, especially up front, and if these players can get some time and some cohesiveness and really get to display themselves, man, if they could get half the career Crystal Dunn has had, we'd be super excited here.
Yeah. I think the difference is it was like Crystal Dunn, and obviously I think Allie Krieger, was on the team and she left, but she was kind of the main show on that team for a long time. And it was a lot in those games where it was, if Crystal Dunn wasn't going to get it done, then the team, I think, struggled a little bit. And I think we saw it in the final that year. This year, you've got two probably of the most promising talents in Ashley Sanchez and Trinity Rodman. I really want to know, because I know that like Trinity Rodman and Ashley Sanchez were not number one picks. Like, there was a team that passed over those players, and I can't remember who was drafted first for Louisville, but I really leave some questions of like, when you look at that, you're like, well, so why didn't you take him? Maybe we're having our Orlando moment when like Daryl DK falls to like 5th or 6th or something, and it's like, and Inter Miami passes on him twice, and look at that. So, but yeah, I guess just a nice solid win, a great comeback win. It set the weekend on a high note, and we thought that high note was going to continue, and unfortunately, anything else you want to drop about this game? Anything else you saw before we close it up?
I just like the season so far for the Spirit. It feels like they're consistently, at least in games, and then pulling off wins when they need them. And I hope they can continue this throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. I think you hit a lot of this, because this was not, I mean, with both these teams, with both DC United and Washington Spirit, this is not supposed to be their season. They're supposed to be sort of rebuilding. I think the Spirit are kind of in year, 2 or 3. But you look at the talent, like, well, they got a lot of young talent, and basically they blew. I mean, we thought for a while that Rose Lavelle was going to be sort of the main anchor. They blew it up, and now they've got like almost a completely new, different style of attack that they've implemented. So I think we were all kind of like, when Rose Lavelle got traded, we're like, all right, I guess we're going through maybe a rebuild process. But what you've seen now is that's almost seems like it's ahead of schedule. Where now they're clearly a dark horse contender, and I think with DC we're seeing the same thing. We're seeing a lot of exciting. It's very different. It's excitement. It's interest. It's young players doing incredible things, and we'll let's shift gears. Let's talk. Let's get to the bad, or the maybe not so bad. I think there's some conflicting feelings about some fans about this team, about this game, and a lot of things. DC United went over to New Jersey, Red Bull Arena, decked out in blue, to play New York City FC. Losada made, I think, what was it, 4 changes in the lineup. He sat Brilliant, or he put Brilliant in. He put Nigel Roberto, obviously gets his first start, Moses Nyman, and I'm trying to remember who the other players were.
Assad? Does Assad start for the first time in a while?
Emil Assad. Yep. And it started off really very well. Let's talk about Moses Nyman, man. Just an unbelievable ball over the top. He went out early, and I was worried. I think we were worried. I was like, he pulled up. He had like a hamstring. Apparently, it was exhaustion, which was a little concerning. But just an incredible ball over the top. I think with that pass, I thought maybe we get like 3 years out of Moses before he starts generating some buzz. I think a year just got chopped off of that. I think we got 2 years with him before he's moving on somewhere else.
Oh man, I've been trying to push down any talk of transfers over on our show, at least, and at least on Twitter. I've been, don't talk about it yet because they will come for this guy. He's way too good already for what he is, a 17-year-old player, homegrown, and I could see him taking that Germany route that we've seen so many times from MLS. I think he would really fit in there.
I think DC got maybe a little bit lucky that the U20 World Cup did not take place this year. It was canceled because I'm wondering, 2021. He would have been, I forget where it was supposed to be played, but he probably would have been on that 2020, U20 World Cup roster and contributing for that team and maybe making a name for himself. And then suddenly that's when the buzz starts to get a little bit more pronounced. I think we're going to start to see it. I think he has to keep it up. And right now there still is very much a tight sort of logjam in that center of the park between Russell Canals. Junior Moreno is now coming back. His Venezuela team was unable to make it past the next round into Copa America, so he'll be back. So now that's another position in there. But just what he brings, like just an offensive ability, is something I think that neither Felipe Martins or Junior Moreno were able to bring, because Russell Canals is your locked in starter in that center of the park.
I'm so glad you say that, because I think it's a stark difference between when Felipe is the partner with Canals and when Moses is. And I absolutely love when Moses is on the field, because he can do things like he did last night and so much more. He's definitely an offensive threat that maybe Felipe is a little bit more balanced.
Well, I think there is an age thing with Felipe, and I know he listens to the show, so we still love you, buddy. But it is a style thing with him too, for sure. And he's more of a destroyer. I just think when you just notice it. I noticed it when it was Felipe and I think it was Felipe and Canals in the Miami game. When I was watching it live, I was like, man, we're getting great work down the wings with Kevin Paredes. My thing is, if you're going to have Felipe out there, then Kevin Paredes needs to be out there, because then at least you get that width. Because if you have that, like when they had Joseph Mora out there, you had Moses Nyman, who was able to sort of spray the ball and move it forward, and I think that's when DC looked really good. And then he comes off, you put in Felipe, and you've got Joseph Mora. Obviously, obviously Julian Gressel's going to get forward, but there isn't a lot of offensive movement, I think, on this team when he's not out there. Do we want to talk about? And also, we should probably mention Nigel Robertha getting his first goal. A lot of fans, I think, have been. I think that he might win the award for like the best timing as far as a goal goes, because we all know that Ola Kamara is not on the fans' favorite striker right now, and he has struggled to put the ball in the back of the net, but he finds the back of the net. For you, do you think Nigel Robertha, does he get the start now over Ola Kamara at this point?
Man, this is tough because I really
know it is.
I really do like Robertha, and I think maybe not even long term, like midterm, he's probably the better striker for us. But Ola is so much more experienced in this league and has done well in the past, and maybe not recently, but it's tough for me. And I like that this is the question that we have. I like that Robertha is pushing for it, that he got a start and he took full advantage of it. I think he caught the defenders by surprise there, because he kind of drags it to the left and takes it with his left foot. I don't know if they didn't think a striker in MLS could do that or what, but he absolutely blasted and showed well for himself. So, yeah, I'd like to see more of Robertha, but right now, if you had to tell me which striker is number one, it's still Ola's, I think.
It's competitive, and I think that was the moment. And to be honest, Robertha was doing some things that the game sort of shifted. I think DC's mentality kind of shifted a little bit in the game. Obviously, NYCFC kind of woke up a little bit. But I think that goal was important for a couple of things. First of all, it showed, okay, I can score in this league, because I think that's always the concern when we bring these players in from, let's face it, the Bulgaria league is not. I'm not watching the Bulgaria champions play in the last 16 of the Champions League every year. So you can light it up in Bulgaria as much as you want. I mean, we saw Eric Sorga light it up in Estonia. I think that's right. I want to be sure. And he came here and he was fine. He gets a lucky goal, but I think he's shown that he just maybe doesn't quite have that MLS level. And we're seeing it by the fact that he is not on the field anymore. I don't think he's even been on the bench. I haven't seen him in the 18.
He might be injured right now, but I think a move to Loudon is pending. So I agree that Sorga hasn't quite showed it. I don't know where the Estonian league and the Bulgarian league stack up, but you kind of, even if we knew, you kind of have to see it on the field, and so it was really good to see Robertha break through.
Yeah, it was good to see him get a goal. I hope this is not a Raphael Gladiator moment, where we watched in 2013. I don't know if you remember, watched Raphael hit a ball from half field into the back of the net, and we thought, oh my gosh, this is it. He's going to be great. He's going to be amazing, and then literally never played another minute for DC. It was, that was a bad year. Bad year for a lot of reasons. But yeah, so we got a nice goal from Robertha. I thought he did some good hold-up play. I thought there was a side to him. I thought, if he can just get comfortable, if he can get confident, and if he can find that striker's boot, I think it's now more of a discussion. Where before it was I was like, hey, you might not like Ola, but tell me who else is out here that's worth it. A goal like that starts to make you say, okay, now there's a discussion. There's a discussion to be had. So we talked about the good. Obviously, Moses Nyman comes off. They go into halftime. I really did think, actually, I'll have to go back and look. Bill Hamid, I think, came out and made some incredible saves, too. It's kind of a shame because we've talked a lot about, and I know you all have talked about it on your show, about, we've been waiting for Bill Hamid to come back, and we're waiting for that game, I think, where he wins you those points. He keeps you in the game, and he did everything in his power to keep DC with 3 points. It's just things happened that were pretty bad. But anything else you want to touch on? Anything that's on your mind about the game? We're going to get to the bad. We're going to get to the bad, but I want to make sure we get through any sort of ideas or thoughts you had about this game.
I have some thoughts about. I did see some hold-up play from Robertha that was encouraging. I also man, I see the borderline between good and bad. It's kind of gray. Yeah, it was different seeing Mora start. I think he just offers something completely different than Paredes at this point, and that's not a knock on him. It's just it's weird that DC United has players who are good in multiple positions and have different characteristics on the field, and we can employ them in different types or in different scenarios. So we can talk a little bit more about that when we get to the bad, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I am currently running without Wi-Fi right now, just FYI. I'm using my phone to talk to you all, and we'll figure it out later. It's the nature of where I am right now. But some of the bad, I guess you can talk about. I'll start off. I have crippling fear now. I bought a Paul Arriola jersey, and it feels like every time I buy a player jersey, I like put some sort of hex on them and they don't play well. It started in the Miami game. I don't think he was bad. It just wasn't very good. Montreal wasn't better. And this might have been, I think this has been Paul's worst performance of the season. He is he is one of the designated players on this team. And, I think one of the stories of this season has been DC is where they are, and they've gotten really not much out of their high paid players. Edison Flores, Paul Arriola, Julian Gressel, and even Ola Kamara you can throw in there. Yordi Reyna, some of those guys are like the more higher paid players. It's been role players. It's been the young homegrown players this year. So I think it gives you hope that, hey, we're still out here competing and nearly winning games without our best players playing well. Maybe if that shifts, but Paul did not have a good game. I don't know if he had the same opinion, but I didn't think he was good at all.
Yeah, I don't want to be too tough on him. I'm curious to see, did you see any kind of difference in the way he's played? Because I kind of saw him more up top sometimes, and I don't know if it's maybe his poor play was the result of us asking him to do something a little bit out of his comfort zone. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see him sort of play a little bit more up top. I think his biggest problem, is he's trying. I feel like he's trying to do his best. He's at his best when he is running at opponents full speed, and I feel like sometimes he gets held up now, and he's trying to maybe make a move or do something like that instead of, okay, if I get held up, maybe make a pass and then try to find another run. I feel like he's trying to do a little bit too much on the ball. He's not. He's trying to dribble. He's trying to slowly, sort of methodically move the ball in. And I'm like, you're at your best. He's at his best when he is flying, when he is just full speed ahead, dribbling fast, dribbling quick. I think that's when you see him have his best moments and his best opportunities. So I hope it, maybe it's just a matter of finding that right moment and he'll turn it around and have a better game. I thought and I know he can do it because the Miami game on the road, I think before the break, he was fantastic. He was like one of the best players out there on the field, I thought, in that game. And so I know he has it. I know it's there. He just needs to figure it out. I feel like Julian Gressel, I don't know what to make of him. I want to say he had a bad game, but I think he had some good service. He generated at least a few opportunities from his service. It's not all there yet. I don't know where he fits necessarily in the spectrum of good or bad. I feel like some people knock on him. I don't know. I feel like your show is maybe a little bit harsh on Julian. I don't know who. I mix up voice. I'm not sure who's the one who's being harsh, but
I'm most of the time the Julian Gressel defender. I thought we should have drafted him when he was coming through, and then so I paid a little bit of attention to him in Atlanta, and he was tearing it up, and I was so excited for him to come here, and yeah, it's been mixed bag because he does create. He puts in crosses that you're like, this should be finished. But a lot of times it doesn't go, and I don't know if that's just like a chemistry thing or a bad striker or a bad striker, but missed chances. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know if he's good or bad, or if we just have too high of expectations for a right back.
I do think his role is something that should get brought up because when he was with Atlanta, I'm pretty sure, yes, he did play some wing back, but he was higher up the field. And in this role, he's asked to sort of play as kind of a two-way player. He does get forward. I think he does really well. He has done really well. He has looked much, much better when Kevin Paredes is out there. because I think the biggest problem, the biggest deficit of this team might actually be Joseph Mora. Because when Mora's out there, suddenly teams are like, okay, we don't have to worry necessarily much about the offensive pressure from Mora. When Paredes is out there, they have to contend with both those sides, and that's when you're seeing the cross. You saw it in the Miami game, you saw it in the Montreal game. Once both those players are out there, teams have to account for that, and that gives more space on that wing. When you have Mora out there, who's does have some offensive tendencies, a more defensive minded player. Teams kind of say, okay, we're just going to focus our attention then on Julian Gressel because we know he's going to go up top. I like when Mora's out there, I can't remember any runs Mora does in the offensive third. I can't really come up with anything.
No, I can't either. And I think you're right, because if you looked at the first few games, we were playing almost exclusively through the right. And now that Kevin's got a few starts and he's when he's on the field, you don't know what he's going to do. He's going to try to cut inside or he might get wide. So yeah, it probably brings a bit of balance, and hopefully Julian Gressel benefits from that. Yeah.
Hopefully we see more Kevin Paredes. I think he made a sub appearance. I don't remember too much that he did in that game. That was as noticeable. And I think a lot of that comes from the role he was asked to play. Let's get to the bad. Let's swallow. Let's take that shot of badness. That was that final minute, because I was thinking, like, I was kind of watching this game and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're NYCFC is getting the chances, but I kind of feel like this team's going to see this one out, and this would be such a huge like signature win, like 1-0 over New York on the road. This is the type of game, I pay attention to where DC's playing and there's no other MLS competition, because that's usually the games where you see or not much competition, that's usually the games where you see more national media like talking about the game. And when it's at 7:00 with 5 other 7:00 games, people tend to watch other things. So I feel like the game against Miami where we won 3-0, I was like, no one was really talking about it. Was all look how bad Miami is, or that's kind of their takeaway. So I was like, man, this is it. This is the moment we're going to get. And then it was 1-1, and I'm like, okay, but it's still like hey, we'll get the point. That's a little disappointing. And then I feel so bad for Donovan Pines because he got cooked on that goal. And it's so sad because he has been so good, just so amazingly good. Losada's goal right now, because I'm sure he maybe feels at fault for that goal. Losada's goal needs to keep him up, because he has really made a major step in his game, and it was so sad. And then there were national media members that were cooking him. Oh man, look, he got burned. It was, that was rough. I felt really bad for him because he's been so good, and he played every single minute. I'm pretty sure every single minute of those games. Yeah, every single minute of those 3 games. Yeah. I don't think maybe he gets subbed out once, but
yeah, and I think that was a huge factor. And yeah, the national media don't pay attention to all the games like we do. And so maybe they missed some of that. That he played 3 games this week, almost all the minutes, and it's the 94th or so, and he's, man, that's a big ask for a player who probably shouldn't be put in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Especially someone who's asked. If he's more of a stay-at-home, if his team playing sort of a stay-at-home style, and Losada did sort of take responsibility. For that, the team was trying to push, I think, for that winner. I think they saw an opportunity, and they got burned on it really, really badly. I was a little bit upset at the Montreal game with how Hernan Losada sort of kept players on, I thought, for too long. Maybe that plays a factor in this game, but then he sort of did switch some things up. I was a little bit harsh on him. I thought he should have subbed some players out. Once it went down to 10 men, I thought, we've got some options where we can get some fresher legs. We can push for that goal, and we can sort of save some reserves for the New York game, which is your bigger game in my opinion. But you know what? I'm really not upset that I want my coaches to go for the win. If it's there, take it. If we lose a point or two because of it, so be it. I'm not losing too much sleep over that. I like the aggressive style. Yeah. Maybe it's Ben. Maybe it's just all the moments with Ben. I don't know, but I like an aggressive style. I don't know if you feel the same way, or if you're upset that Losada was trying to push maybe for that win, or try to go for it?
I mean, that's been his ethos from the beginning. He said he'd rather win 5-4 or something ridiculous than 1-0, and I think it kind of came up in this game. And maybe there's a lesson to be learned there for both Pines and Losada. They're both early in their careers for DC United. But yeah, are we really going to be mad about a point on the road that we could have gotten in a month or two? Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to know. I mean, I think if we're a team that is top of the table competing, knowing that we're going to compete for that top spot, maybe we're a little bit more upset about watching that slide. But I think right now we have accepted what this team is. We have accepted that we are a work in progress. We are a team that is going to it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to build up, and it's going to take some time to put it together. And I think we've all sort of just kind of accepted that this is what it is. And I think there's upsetness and maybe a little bit of anger. I'm sure they're the people out there that think that DC should win every year and every year they should be champions, and this is unacceptable. And there are the people who seem to live on the negativity on this team. And I think those people can recognize that you can say positive things. You don't have to be all negative and assume that makes you balanced. I kind of don't ascribe to that, but a tough thing for Donovan. A tough result for the team. I guess the question is, one thing I want to add. I hope Hernan, I think, said, "Oh, it won't happen again. I won't do this again." I'm like, nah, man, do you keep this up? Like, if I see us start bunkering when we're 1-1 against like Toronto next week, I'm gonna be a little bit mad, man. Come on.
Yeah. Well, what was it all for? If we go back to that.
Yeah. Exactly. Go for it, man. Do you. Like, we're gonna have more moments when we win. Like, I'm enjoying this looking forward to watching DC United games. I am still looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to next week too, when we play Toronto, who just got dropped by FC Cincinnati. I don't know, Toronto, I feel like is a team we can talk about a little bit, because this is going to be a game where you're going to have Chris Armas, Chris Armas, who we passed over as a coach. Who was supposed to, I remember we did a whole show where we interviewed Mark Fishkin from Seeing Red. We were like, all right, we want to know who this guy is. He's going to be the coach. And then it was like, nope, never mind. Doesn't happen. And then he goes to Toronto, and it's so interesting. A lot of people have sort of brought up with Chris Armas. I think what Chris Armas is trying to do, I think this is the nature of a bad fit. With Chris Armas. I think actually if Chris Armas came here and was trying to do the same things he's doing with DC, I think he would have been more successful. I don't know if he would be as successful as Losada. I think Losada has a bit more of a charisma. On the Football Manager meter, he has the charisma bar a little bit higher maybe than Armas, so he can rally the troops maybe a little bit better. But it's going to be interesting to see. This is sort of a tale of two teams that took very different directions, and different teams that have different players in mindset. And this is a team in Toronto that just got dropped by Lucho and Cincinnati. So it's going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I don't want to make it all about them, because I feel good about Losada over Armas. So it'll come back to bite us, and we'll end up not looking great against them. But overall, I think, you can't be mad at what we've gotten from Losada. The charisma and the ethos that he brings to the team, it makes DC United fun to watch again, like you said. And it's a little bit fun to watch Toronto struggle like this, and it might be the bad fit that you're talking about.
I think it is. I mean, I feel like Toronto I feel like Toronto I think they were not expecting Greg Vanney to leave. I think that really took them by surprise, and I think they've almost panicked in their coaching to say, let's Chris Armas, go ahead, come on, do it. And I think Chris Armas is asking his team to do something, and the players have talked about it too, which is they're like, we're being asked to play a pressing team, and we've been built to be a possession team. And when you do that and you're trying to force it, that's not usually a good scenario. I have a feeling Chris Armas like looks back, and I think maybe he looks over at what Losada's doing, and he's like, I think I made the wrong choice. I think maybe if I had been here, I would have had a team that was a little bit more receptive. But I mean, I agree. I think we made the better hire. I think Losada is doing an excellent job, and it's going to be curious to see who comes out on top in this game. And it's going to be even funnier if, I don't know, maybe Josie Altidore, DC signs Josie Altidore. Hey, Kai Kamara is still out there too. We're looking for a striker. I'd love to see it. I guess we'll close this a little bit. You are a Charleston Battery fan.
Yes.
So you can talk a little about this. This is almost like it was planned. It was planned a little bit. But Loudoun United losing 3-0 to Charleston. Someone I think brought up a stat. It's like since beating like New York Red Bulls 2 last August, I think it was Ryan Kiefer, the Loudoun United are 1-14-1. So that's 1 win, 14 losses, and 1 draw. I think I got that stat right. I hope I did. But it's either way, it's abysmal. It's not good. But you're a Charleston fan. I know you're happy. So I know you actually watched. You said you caught the second half.
Yeah.
Like what? Anything you got from that game that was like noticeable?
What I've gotten from, and I won't generalize the whole season, but I watched both the Charleston game that was in Loudoun and this one that was away to Charleston. And people have said this online that Loudoun don't actually play this bad. I don't. They just. It's hard to say a team is getting unlucky breaks when they're 1-14-1, but they play good soccer. It's just something in the defense falls apart, or something in the attack doesn't come through. 3-0 is harsh. I thought the 1-0 a few weeks ago was very harsh. It's tough, but I'm not sad about it.
See, I think there is, so, it reminds me so much about, and I think it's the second time I brought up 2013 DC United, because that team that was constructed had no business being as bad as they were that season. They were not a good team. Let's be clear. They were not world beaters on that team, but they had no business, I think, being as bad as they were that season. It's something, it's like, I feel like it's almost a mentality thing. It's like, and I think we saw it a bit from Ben Olsen. We saw it from Ben Olsen teams. It was like, yeah, they weren't playing that bad, but they weren't really doing much that was really noticeable. Maybe you get 1 or 2 nice moments. I think they're more competitive than they were. 2020, you just throw out because that was a weird COVID year. They could not get players that could come down. I think that team was built to have players like, probably Donovan Pines, to have some of your sort of younger players able to, Eric Sorga, I think was sort of designed there, but to have those players be kind of in that team, moving between them, getting maybe a little bit boost in talent. And that couldn't happen with the way COVID was set up. So that team was not built to the constructed well, let's say, because they assumed that they were going to have some loanies down from DC. And then 2021, it seemed like they built more of a solid team, and they were actually able to utilize some players down in Loudoun, so from DC to Loudoun. Camardi Smith is now going to be there as well, so I'll be curious to watch him and see how he does. You're right; they're not playing badly. It's just not coming together. It's whatever it is, snake bit, whatever you want to call it. So. Not good. All right. I think that's going to do it for this show. A little bit of a shorter show than what we've had. I apologize. I'm sure maybe there's some people in the chat rigging me up. I cannot see you in the chat. I apologize. But yeah, I guess, Joshua, before we let you go, man, tell the good people where you can listen to Tried and True. Yeah. You got your podcast. You cover DC too. So
yeah, every post game we try to go as soon as possible. Normally it's like 10-15 minutes, but sometimes if it's super late, we'll be in the next morning. But you can find us on Twitter at Tried and True DCU. We're on Twitch and YouTube with the same name. Just search us and join us. It's a lot of fun. It's not a lot of analysis. We're not here for calm, easy takes. We're here to express our feelings and positive, negative, and hopefully get end on a positive note and help you all out.
You guys are the hot takes. You guys are the energy. You guys bring the energy, and we're I think if we did, we see the reason we don't do the hot takes is that's what happened to me in the Montreal game. Was I was heated at that moment and I blew up on that podcast, and that's why we are smart and we push me off until the next day when I get to sleep and have some time to think about it.
Trust me, there's some games where I wish I had slept on it.
It always, hey man, it's all fun. Well, Joshua, thank you so much for joining us, guys. We will be back. I think we're going to have another spirit player interview lined up for you. I've been sort of following John while he's been communicating that and getting that together on vacation. So definitely stick around for that. John will be back next week. And guys, we will catch you next on Thursday for our normal Thursday show. Vamos.